Hey, horror fans, once again, it is me, the Horror Mizumani-G. It's time to review the latest Netflix TV show. It is their adaptation of the Capcom game Resident Evil, and this is my Season 1 review. Now, Resident Evil is a 2022 American Netflix horror streaming service television series was created by Andrew Dabb. It is based upon the video game Resident Evil by Capcom. Now, this has an ensemble cast. We have Lance Reddick, Ella Balinski, Tamara Smart, Adrian Rudolph, Sienna Ongdog, and Paula Nunez. Now, for this interpretation of Resident Evil, the story alternates between two timelines following twin sisters Jade and Billy Wesker during their days in New Raccoon City before the outbreak, and 14 years in the future where we see an adult Jade tries to survive the end of the world. Yes, that's basically what the premise of this particular version of Resident Evil is about. So, when it was announced that Netflix will develop a TV series based upon the popular Capcom video game Resident Evil, I was quite intrigued. I'm like, wow, this is fascinating. I mean, we've already had Paul W.S. Anderson's film version of Resident Evil. Then we had the disappointing 2021 remake of the same name, was Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. I was a bit intrigued and said, well, maybe we finally will get a decent adaptation of the very popular video game. So they went on and hired TV writer-director Andrew Dabb to be the executive producer and showrunner. Now, he was the showrunner for the popular CW TV show Supernatural for the show's last 4 seasons, so they got somebody with some decent background. Also, when it was announced that veteran TV actor Lance Reddick would be cast to play Albert Wesker, I was very intrigued because I always enjoyed Reddick's performances. He's a very good actor. I've seen him on a lot of TV shows, whether it was on Law and Order, some TV movies, and of course, I believe I loved his character on Fringe. So he's done a pretty good job, so I was happy to see him be cast as Albert Wesker. Now, I'm sure most people who are probably disappointed by now that Dabb and his team have taken this story in a different direction from the source material, which I really don't have a problem with, as I always like to see something different from when it comes to TV writers or movie writers or filmmakers. If you want to try to something different than what we haven't seen before, go at it, Hoss. So as I stated before, we have 2 different timelines. We have one set in the year 2022 and then 14 years later in the future 2036. So in the 2022 timeline, we see Albert Wesker and his daughters, Jade and Billy Wesker, move into New Raccoon City where Albert's work on their new product, Joy, is about to launch. That's basically what we see in the beginning of the first episode. We see Albert, we see his daughters, they're moving into this new Raccoon City place. I believe it's in South Africa. He's there to help them launch this new product called Joy. And 2036, we see the world has been decimated by a zombie outbreak by the T-virus, and the now adult version, Jade, is out in the wasteland trying to conduct research on their behavior. Whatever the purpose that is, that's what we learn throughout the episodes, throughout the season, about what she's out there doing by herself. Why is she conducting these experiments? That's basically what we learned throughout this particular timeline throughout the 8-episode first season. Now, again, throughout the 8-episode first season, we also see how Jade and Billy discovered the dark secrets that their father and her brother are hiding. And again, the adult Jade trying to survive the world since it's been destroyed by the outbreak. Now, I will have to tell you guys, this isn't the first time we've seen this type of telling story before, this on TV shows and in movies. If you remember back in the 2013 horror movie, Oculus had a similar premise, along with the TV show Damages and Showtime's current TV show Yellow Jackets. They follow this same premise of 2 different timelines involving the same characters. Now, Damages was a bit different, was because we don't have a younger version or an older version of the characters. It's just involving the same actors playing the same characters, but in 2 different timelines, but it's still the same premise. It's like in Damages and in Yellow Jackets and Oculus, we have one particular timeline which shows the past events and the other timeline showing the current or future events. It's just like, in Oculus, Yellow Jackets, in this one, we have younger versions of the characters and we have older versions of the characters. That's the similarity between Oculus and Yellow Jackets. Now, while that premise worked and was praised by both critics and audiences for Oculus, Damages, and Yellow Jackets. Does this premise work for Dab's storyline here? Well, I'll tell you about it. The one thing does work for the show are the visuals, as we get some decent set pieces from both timelines. You know, from the white, well-maintained, glossy-looking houses in New Raccoon City to the dreary, dark, and dirty locations Jags explores in 2036. I mean, when you see how all the houses look similar, they're all white and bright and sunny, and they're all well-maintained, and everything's so nice and pretty in New Raccoon City, as opposed to the dark, dreary, and dirty location Jags explores in 2036. You know, from the first landscape that she explores to the Brotherhood stronghold throughout the season, and to the time she gets to the ship. And by the end of the series, you know, it's all dark and dreary. That's to be expected, even though. But I did enjoy all the set pieces; like, they look very well, and I have to give credit for how all the visuals look throughout the series. I mean, we also get some decent creature effects, as they're mostly practical, not the bad CGI monsters that we've seen in the Paul W.S. Anderson film series and the 2024 remake. I mean, very good practical creature effects. The acting is decent, as Lance does a good job in playing a somewhat different version of Wesker, something of Wesker that we haven't seen before. This guy, he's caring, he's nice, he really does love Billy and Jade, and he seems to be a somewhat decent father. But don't get me wrong, he does have a secret, and a real big secret that does get revealed in the pre-ultimate episode that I didn't even see coming. So I have to give Dab's writing team credit for that one. I'm pretty sure once you get to episode 7, which is the pre-ultimate episode, when that reveal happens, it's like, wow, that's interesting. I think Paulina Nunez really stands out as Evelyn Marcus, the daughter of, you know, James Marcus. You know, his name gets thrown out this series as well. I mean, Evelyn, she's cold, vicious, greedy, and the only cares what's best for her or what's best for Umbrella. And she really does a good job. Every time when she's on the screen, she just literally chews up the scenery, and you can see that she's having a great time playing this character. And so you really got to give her credit. She is the best thing about the series. You know, as for the actresses playing the young and adult versions of Jade and Billy, well, I can't blame them, especially their adult versions. Now, both Tamara Smart and Sienna Ongdong, I think I'm not pronouncing her name right, they do what they can with the younger versions of Jade and Billy, but the script that Dobbs' team has created doesn't flesh out the characters enough and plays into Ella Balinski's performance as the adult version of Jade. I mean, it's kind of bland and flat. It's no fault of Ella or Adeline Rudolph, who plays the adult version of Billy. It's just that, you know, during the past part of their characters, it's really not strong enough to confer to their adult versions. And what's worse is, by the time we do meet the adult version of Billy, the audience doesn't get a chance to know what her motivations are, and we don't know what actions in the past caused her to be the character that she is in the adult. And that's a very telling sign right there. And I don't like to compare TV shows, because obviously Yellow Jackets is a different show as far as Resident Evil is concerned. But what makes Yellow Jackets work is how well the show is written, and how the younger characters plays into how the adult versions of those characters are. Obviously, what happened to those characters in the past and the situation they involved in them affects how their characters are in their adult versions. We don't get that here. Now, I don't know if it's because if Dab is trying to say that for season 2, if they get a season 2 or not, but that's one of the things that's missing here. Whatever actions that Jade and Ella do in the past in the younger versions doesn't really apply, or we don't get to see that in their adult versions. And again, I don't have a problem with Dab and the story he's trying to tell, as it's something different that we haven't seen from Paul S.W. Anderson film series or the recent 2021 remake. You know, it's something different, and I do give them credit, but it's unfortunately he did not do a good job in executing that. Now, another problem I have with the film are the zombies, who are called Zeros here, as they're not the threat as they should be. Yes, they can be dangerous when we get a horde around them, but they don't present the threat that they should. Now, I don't know what they were trying to do here, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people wanted to see the typical gore as far as what we normally see in this type of subgenre, but we don't get that here. Yeah, we do get to see some biting, but it's not enough. I wanted to see more. It's like we really don't get enough to see. Like say, we do get to see a zombie dog, the Cerberus. We do get to see liquors. We do get to. We actually get a presence of a gravedigger in the show, right? Did we get a gravedigger here? You know, we can give you one of the monster spiders that we haven't seen in any of the films right here, but it's not enough. We want more monsters. That's what we want to see. Now, I understand that they probably didn't have the budget to do it that way, but when we do get them, it's not enough. Now, we do get plenty of Easter eggs throughout the season, which I'm pretty sure a lot of Resident Evil fans will enjoy, but I'm pretty sure this is not what they expected. I'm not criticizing that, but if you're going to try to do something that's outside the source material, you want to keep it interesting enough. And like I said, we do get some interesting plays throughout the film. We get the interesting acting from Lance Reddick and Nunes here. Like I said, they do a great job, but unfortunately, it's just not enough to grab the audience. There is something missing in here, and unfortunately, again, it's because the script doesn't allow the actresses that plays the younger and adult versions of Jade and Billy. You know, it just misses the mark. I don't know where the story will go, as the season finale was a bit lackluster. We get somewhat of a cause of how the outbreak started, and what happens to Jade and Billy as far as their adult versions is concerned. I don't know where they're going with that, but I'm guessing if Dab does get a second season, I'm pretty sure he'll explore more on how the outbreak started and what happens to Jade and Billy in both their timelines. Something that will sort of bring it much more tighter together and explore their motivations, especially Billy's. I mean, overall, it's not a bad series. It's okay, but I expected more. I wanted something to hook me into it, and I just didn't get that. So I'm going to give Resident Evil, the Netflix Resident Evil series, I'm only going to give it 2 out of my 5 bloody gold coins. It's okay. It's not bad. I mean, put it this way, it's definitely better than the 2021 Resident Evil remake, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to be disappointed because they wanted to see something more, a little bit more close to the source material. So there you have it. That is my review of Season 1 Resident Evil on Netflix. This is a non-spoiler review. Just want to make that careful. So if you're going to leave comments in the comment section below, please make sure you don't put any spoilers in it, because I don't want it spoiled for anybody else. So if you are going to put spoilers in the comment section, make sure you mark it so that way no one reads it. So that's my video for today, guys. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please give it a like, thumbs up, and share, because it does help out with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button and ring that notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime when I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Monty G, and always remember that horror rules. I'll see you in my next video. I'm out.